my house and take a baseboard down, you won't have to pull but one nail. I never did like that. I've worked on people's houses before, and the baseboard, there'd be a nail every seemed like 6 inches. And you'd tear it all to pieces. When you got done with it, you had to throw it away. But mine, you don't. It's just like brand new when you take it up. But that's the way we do. We have to do a lot of things. I do. I'm bad for it. But I've learned my lesson. My wife's changed me a lot. Just well to do it right. It's going to last for a long time. Put the best you can get in it. That's what you need. That's like your service for God. Do it right. Don't half do it. God won't accept it. And it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their lord, the king of Egypt. See, God has set him up here in prison so he can meet with Pharaoh. God will make a way. If you need something bad enough in your life and it's God's plan, it will happen. He can make it happen. And Pharaoh was wroth against 2 of his officers, against the chief of the butlers and against the chief of the bakers. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound. That was not just a coincidence, was it? That was God's plan. And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them. So Joseph was over them. So he found out, I guess, everything that happened while they were there and what they expected and everything else. And and he served them. And they continued a season in ward. And listen what happens here. And they dreamed a dream, both of them. Each man his dream on the same night. Each man according to the interpretation of his dream. The butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in the prison. So they had these dreams. I don't know how you all feel about dreams. Sometimes I dream dreams that troubles me deeply. And sometimes I dream dreams that something I've never thought about in my whole life had happened. So I don't know. It's a toss-up for me, I guess. I believe God can speak to you in a dream. He did back in these days, I know that. And Joseph came in unto them in the morning, and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. So they had a sad countenance, and he probably had a personal relationship with all these people that he was over. I guess he encouraged them, and he saw that they were sad. And he wanted to know why. And he asked Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the ward of his Lord's house, saying, Wherefore look ye so sadly today? And they said unto him, We have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me them, I pray you. Joseph understands and knows that he has the ability to interpret dreams. God has revealed that to him down through his young life. And he wants them to tell him what they have dreamed and what's bothering them, so he might be able to sort it out and help them with whatever questions that they have. And the chief butler told his dream to Joseph. And he said, in my dream, behold, a vine was before me. And in the vine were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded. And her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand. And I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, and I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. And Joseph said unto him, this is the interpretation of it. He didn't have to study about it for a long time. God gave it to him immediately. He said this is an interpretation. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thine head and restore thee unto thy place. And thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand after the former manner when thou wast his butler. So he's telling him you are going to be restored unto your old job. Everything is going to be okay with you. The Pharaoh is going to take you back as his cupbearer. Joseph gave him one request when he told him he would be restored. You know, Joseph, he had complete confidence in his interpretation. He didn't question, well, if it does happen, he had the faith that God had given him this interpretation. And there was no doubt in his mind. So what did he tell this young man? He said, but think on me when it shall be well with thee. And show kindness, I pray thee, unto me. And make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. For indeed I was stolen away of the land of the Hebrews. He has a chance here to confess. And he has a chance here to send a message to Pharaoh how he was falsely accused. For indeed I was stolen out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. So he tells him to mention what has happened to him. Stand up for me. When you get before the one that is in control, the one that can make a difference. You know, that's what Jesus Christ wants us to do. He wants us to tell other people about His goodness, about what He's done for us, for me. And if I can relate that to other people, it might make a difference in their decision. When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream. And behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head. This is the other interpretation. He thought his would be on the same level as the one of the cupbearer. And in the uppermost basket, there was of all manner of baked fruits, baked meats for Pharaoh, and the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. And Joseph answered and said, this is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee on a tree. And the birds shall eat thy flesh from off thee. I would say he was totally surprised. But I'll tell you what I think. I think he was a guilty man. I think whatever they'd put him in prison for, he deserved it. And I'm thankful we didn't get what we deserved. Jesus Christ He told me, let's whosoever will come. And I am thankful for him today. And Joseph answered. And it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and the chief baker among his servants. And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and he gave the cup unto Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him. So I'll stop here. Sometimes we take for granted, sometimes in this life, what people have done for us. When it comes down to returning the favor, sometimes we're slack. But if it is, no matter what, good or bad, we need to have a forgiving heart. Don't carry the burdens of what somebody has done to you in the past. Because the only one you're causing any trouble is yourself. Forgive people. Love people. Have a godly love. Because it's not in us to do it on our own. I know that. I learned that a long time ago. It just gets worse and worse and worse if you try to do it yourself. But let God do it. Let God take care of the healing process that comes from hurt and sorrow and pain. But Joseph, he told them the truth. And it happened just like he said. God gave it to him. It wasn't in him. He said, "Is not the interpretation of dreams belong to God?" And they do. They do. I thank you all for your attention. And Gary, we're glad to have you with us. And praise the blessings upon you and your family. Good to see you.